As a tech enthusiast with an inclination toward innovative devices, I was particularly excited to get my hands on the Oppo Find N5. This compact, foldable smartphone promised to deliver powerful performance with a unique form factor that distinguishes it from its traditional counterparts. After spending a week using the device, I felt compelled to share my thoughts, insights, and experiences. Here's a detailed review encompassing everything from its design and performance to user experience. So let's get started. A huge deal about Find N5 was its extremely thin 4.21mm profile. When unfolded, it's one of the slimmest book-style foldable phones you can buy. Surprisingly, my testing revealed many legitimate reasons to feel excited about this change. When folded, the phone measures 8.93mm. The thickness reduction follows its weight of 229 grams. Using the Find N5 in a folded state doesn't strain your supporting pinky finger as much. However, Oppo took advantage of Find N5's build with other crucial improvements that elevate its appeal. Despite its thin profile, the Find N5 feels very solid and well-made. There is practically no flex to the body and no hollowness either. The hinge is nothing short of an engineering marvel. It is called a titanium flexion hinge. It offers a smooth motion with equal tension and a satisfying snap at both ends. It also lays out the display impressively flat with a minimal crease. One improvement is the USB-C port, which Oppo has customized to fit the 4.21mm allowance. It works well with off-brand USB-C cables. The ones we had lying around could charge and transfer files without notable issues. The Find N5 has a pretty standard button layout when folded. You get a volume rocker and a power button, fingerprint reader combo on the right-hand side. These are convenient enough to use but are a bit high up on the frame, which is my biggest complaint. You also get an alert slider, which ends up on the right-hand side next to the volume rocker when the phone is closed. The Find N5 also offers impressive protection. It has IPX8 and 9 water-resistant ratings and high-pressure water jets. It is immersible up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes and is available in a couple of colors, Cosmic Black and Misty White. Moving to the front, it features a 6.62-inch single screen when folded and an 8.12-inch dual pane when unfolded, with a 90% screen-to-body ratio. The Oppo Find N5 has two gorgeous OLED displays at its disposal. Both offer a 120Hz refresh rate and LTPO tech. Oppo says the inner display of the Find N5 can reach up to 1400 nits outdoors and has a peak of 2100 nits. However, in my test, the inner display peaked at around 595 nits by maxing out the slider and at around 180 nits in max auto mode. As for the cover display, it managed around 584 nits on the slider and 1,178 nits in bright conditions. Generally, the phone does a great job controlling its refresh rate, lowering it when nothing is happening on the screen and then shooting it up to 120 Hz for things like web page scrolling and animations. Video playback usually gets detected, and the refresh rate gets set to 60 Hz, which is fine. I also tried some high refresh rate gaming and had success with most titles. Both displays on the Find N5 offer Dolby Vision support. The phone also supports the highest possible Widevine L1, providing the most robust protection against unauthorized access and piracy, making it suitable for premium content, allowing apps like Netflix to offer full HD streams. Speaking of the display crease, Oppo has done a stellar job reducing it in every possible way. It is 10% narrower and 50% shallower. The outside display is protected by a nano-crystal glass with a stronger anti-shock film. And for performance enthusiasts, here's what I discovered after a week. The Find N5 uses the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset with 3 nanometers, generally regarded as the premium chipset for 2025 Android phones. Other than that, you get 12 or 16 gigabytes of RAM across all of the storage variants of the Find N5, from 256 gigabytes to 1 terabyte. Whether I'm moving fast between several open apps or playing high graphics games, the device handles everything smoothly. I've noticed no lag or stuttering, which is impressive for a foldable phone. Notably, the device stayed cool even after about 50 minutes of gaming and watching movies. There is also a dedicated games toolkit with a special performance mode, Game Toolkit, and granular game management help to save power and more CPU speed. Thanks to you, my friend, if you continue watching this video until now, for the battery life and software. The phone runs on ColorOS 15 paired with the version of Android 15. The pre-installed apps are pretty manageable with a tiny handful of popular or commonly used third-party ones. Oppo promises 4 years of major OS updates and a total of 6 years of software support for the Find N5. That's pretty good as far as current support cycles go. The Find N5 is naturally imbued with all sorts of AI smart features. There is an AI Studio app that seems to focus on image generative AI features, offering things like AI Motion and AI Portrait. There is also an AI image editor in the proprietary Oppo Photos app, with features like AI Eraser, Unblur, and Remove Reflections. Beyond that, Oppo also advertises an AI document feature for summarizing text, AI translation, AI Speak for voice transcribing, and an AI writer for text generation. There is also an AI call summary feature, but it will only be available in Asia for now, starting in March. Of course, you also get Circle to Search and the Gemini app on board. As for power, the Oppo Find N5 contains a silicon carbon battery, which explains how it fits, 5,600 mAh inside its super slim profile. In my day-to-day use, it offers decent uptime of 13 hours when playing games, listening to music, and making calls. The battery also takes about 70 minutes to charge from 0 to 100% with an 80-watt charger. And finally, the camera. The Find N5 has a solid triple camera system on the back, and it again bears the Hasselblad branding as we've seen on other recent Oppo phones. The primary camera is a 50-megapixel unit based on the Sony Lydia sensor. Beyond that, you also get an 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera with autofocus and a 50-megapixel periscope telephoto. The photos by the main camera on the Find N5 look very clean and sharp, with great detail and color. The dynamic range is good but not perfect. You can force the main camera to capture in full 50-megapixel resolution. You don't really get more detail from these shots, though. The processing is a bit more lax, but not in a major way. The other quality characteristics appear to be identical. The main camera captures pretty great 2x zoom shots, too. Very clean and sharp with great detail. The noise is well contained. The main camera on the Find N5 holds up decently well in low light. The detail is there, and the colors are good. Noise is well contained, and so are light sources. Shadows are well developed. Photos from the 3x periscope telephoto camera are stellar. The detail is great, and so are the contrast and dynamic range. There is practically no noise. The colors look great and are well matched to the main camera. Honestly, I have no complaints. Even when captured at 6x zoom, the photos look great. The detail is great, and the images are clean with hardly any noise. The ultra-wide camera is kind of disappointing, especially compared to the other cameras. The detail isn't great, and everything is soft and blurry. Dynamic range is okay, but not great. The colors look good, but are a bit cold and not well matched to the other cameras. Due to its design, the Find N5 actually has a pair of selfie cameras, one on the cover display and another one in the corner of the inner screen, both coming with 8 megapixels. These seem identical in terms of hardware. The selfie cameras are equally good. The level of detail is nice, and so are the exposure and contrast. But of course, you can just use the rear cameras on the Find N5 to capture selfies and get much better quality. The cover screen acts as a selfie monitor in this case. And lastly, for video recording, the Find N5 can shoot at up to 4K resolution with all of its cameras at up to 60 frames, except for the ultra-wide and selfie cameras, which are limited to 30 frames. The main camera captures solid 4K video. The detail and colors are good, and so are the contrast and dynamic range. After dark, the videos from the main camera still look great. The detail is plenty, and the colors are nicely saturated. You get a surprisingly high dynamic range too. After a week with the Oppo Find N5, I conclude that it is an impressive device that offers a unique form factor without compromising on performance. Its design, display, and camera versatility make it a worthwhile investment for tech enthusiasts and casual users alike. In my opinion, if you're looking for a smartphone that pushes the boundaries of functionality and design, the Find N5 is a solid contender. Whether you're an avid photographer, a mobile gamer, or just someone looking for a beautiful and functional device, I can confidently say that this phone delivers on its promises. Happy watching and goodbye.